Dr. Elena Reyes rubbed her tired eyes and stared at the data scrolling across her monitor. 3 weeks of the same anomalous readings from Betelgeuse, and no one else at the Quantum Array Lunar Observatory seemed concerned. But Elena knew better. The patterns were too precise, too structured to be natural. Running another analysis, Dr. Reyes asked Tenzin, her graduate assistant, floating a coffee pouch toward her in the low lunar gravity. Elena caught it with practiced ease. Something's wrong with these readings. Stars don't pulse with mathematical precision. The quantum array, humanity's most advanced radio telescope, had been Elena's home for the past 18 months. Built on the far side of the moon to shield it from Earth's electronic noise, it was designed to detect signals from the furthest reaches of the universe, not to catch a nearby star behaving impossibly. "I've isolated a sequence," she said, pulling up a visualization. "Look at this. Prime numbers, followed by what looks like coordinates, then this repeating pattern." Tenzin frowned. "That can't be natural." "Exactly. Something, or someone, is modifying Betelgeuse's radiation signature, and if my calculations are correct, the star is becoming unstable at an accelerated rate." Her terminal chimed with an incoming message from Earth. It was Dr. Hirano from the International Astronomical Union, responding to the report she'd submitted last week. "With all due respect, Dr. Reyes," the message read, "Betelgeuse is expected to go supernova sometime within the next 1,000,000 years. Your claim that it could happen within 5 years is simply not supported by established astrophysics. Perhaps the isolation of lunar posting is affecting your analysis." Elena's jaw tightened. Another dismissal. She'd faced them her entire career, when she proposed new models for dark matter distribution, when she suggested alternative methods for detecting gravitational waves. Always too radical, too willing to challenge consensus. "Tenzin, prepare the deep scan protocol. We're going to gather enough evidence that even Hirano can't ignore it." 12 hours later, Elena stared at the results in horrified fascination. The deep scan had revealed complex energy signatures surrounding Betelgeuse, artificial structures too small to detect with conventional telescopes. Something was harvesting energy from the star while systematically destabilizing its core. "My God," whispered Tenzin. "Is that what I think it is?" "Artificial stellar manipulation," Elena confirmed. "Someone is triggering Betelgeuse to go supernova. And based on these energy readings, they've done this before. Many times." Elena named them the Voidborn, entities that live between stars, harvesting their deaths for energy. The name seemed appropriate for beings that created voids where stars once shined. When she transmitted her findings to Earth this time, she included the deep scan data. Even the most skeptical scientist couldn't dismiss the artificial patterns now evident in the readings. 3 days later, the Chinese Celestial Eye Observatory confirmed her findings. Hours after that, Elena's private terminal lit up with a priority communication from the United Nations Security Council. As she prepared for the video conference that would change humanity's course forever, her tablet pinged with a message from her daughter Maya, who was participating in an archaeological expedition in Chile. "Mom, you need to see this. We found something in the caves that matches your Betelgeuse signal." Attached was a photo of ancient cave paintings, at least 15,000 years old according to the carbon dating. The images showed stick figures looking up at a bright star, surrounded by mathematical symbols identical to the sequence Elena had detected from Betelgeuse. A chill ran down her spine. This wasn't first contact. Whatever the Voidborn were, they'd been watching Earth for millennia. As Elena connected to the emergency UN session, she realized humanity faced 2 terrifying questions: how to survive a supernova that would reach Earth in less than 5 years, and why would a species capable of triggering such an event announce their attack in advance? The Secretary General's face appeared on her screen, grim and ashen. Behind him sat representatives from every major nation, all previous conflicts temporarily forgotten in the face of extinction. "Dr. Reyes," he said, "the world's governments are prepared to allocate whatever resources you need. How do we stop this?" Elena took a deep breath. We don't stop it. The supernova is already triggered, but we might be able to shield ourselves from it, or even harness it." As the words left her mouth, the lunar facility experienced a power surge, systems briefly failing before emergency backups engage. Elena glanced at Tenzin, who was checking diagnostics. "Someone just scanned us," he said quietly. A focused energy beam from deep space. The message was clear. The Voidborn were listening. Humanity's response to their cosmic challenge had begun. The news of Betelgeuse's artificial destabilization leaked despite government efforts to control the information. Markets crashed. Religious extremists proclaimed the end times. Looting emptied store shelves across major cities. Society teetered on the edge of collapse for 48 harrowing hours. Then something unexpected happened in Seoul, South Korea. A kindergarten teacher, trying to calm her frightened students, created a simple melody about stars and hope. She recorded her class singing it and shared the video with a teacher friend in Australia, who taught it to her students. Within 24 hours, children across 70 countries were singing the same song, now known as the Starborn Lullaby. The lyrics were simple. "We are children of the stars, we will not fall apart. Though darkness seems so near, we stand without fear." The melody spread faster than panic had. Adults began singing it too. Flash mobs formed in city centers, thousands of voices joining in haunting harmony. The song became humanity's unofficial anthem against extinction. In New Delhi, Arjun Mehta watched these videos from his grandmother's apartment, barely noticing them as background noise. The 23-year-old mathematician had been working non-stop since the Betelgeuse data was leaked, his small desk covered with notebooks filled with calculations. "Arjun, you must eat something," his grandmother insisted, placing a plate beside him. "In a minute, Nani," he mumbled, his eyes never leaving the strange symbols he'd extracted from the Betelgeuse signal. Elena Reyes had found the first layer, but Arjun believed there was more encoded within it. He had dropped out of his PhD program 6 months earlier after professors called his theories on transdimensional mathematics undisciplined. Now those same professors were desperately trying to contact him. "There's a pattern here," he whispered, arranging the symbols in a 3-dimensional matrix in his mind. Not just a message, but a record. When the pattern finally crystallized, Arjun fell back in his chair, heart racing. He had deciphered what appeared to be a catalog, a record of stellar harvests spanning millions of years. Betelgeuse wasn't the first. The Voidborn had triggered supernovas throughout the galaxy as a systematic energy collection method. Civilizations were categorized by technological advancement, with humanity labeled as cultivation stage 3.7, a sweet spot for energy harvest efficiency. Most disturbing was the evidence suggesting human technological development had been subtly accelerated at key points in history. Seemingly random scientific breakthroughs that changed human history had fingerprints of external influence. Within hours of Arjun uploading his findings to an open science server, intelligence agencies worldwide had contacted him. By nightfall, he was on a military transport to the emergency United Nations summit in Geneva. The summit itself was unprecedented. Historical enemies arrived with pre-drafted alliance treaties. Nations that had been on the brink of war weeks earlier now shared intelligence freely. Outside the conference center, millions gathered, singing the Starborn Lullaby in a demonstration of solidarity that transcended borders. Inside, Elena Reyes presented the combined findings to the assembled leaders. The Voidborn, as we've named them, have harvested approximately 12,000 civilizations, she explained, her voice steady despite the horrifying scale. They consider it merciful cultivation, allowing species to develop technology that eventually benefits the harvest. Arjun stepped forward, nervously adjusting his glasses. "My analysis suggests they've influenced our development for millennia, accelerating technological advancement to optimize energy extraction when they eventually trigger our sun to go supernova." The Chinese premier stood first. "China commits all resources to planetary defense." The American president followed. The United States stands with humanity. One by one, every nation pledged total commitment to a unified response. Operation Helios Shield was authorized with unlimited funding and resources, a global initiative to develop technology capable of defending against a supernova-level energy wave. 3 days later, disaster struck. Key research facilities in Japan, Brazil, and Kenya were simultaneously hit by meteors that satellite tracking showed had changed trajectory mid-flight to ensure impact. At the Emergency Response Center in Geneva, Alina stared at the impact footage in disbelief. "They're actively interfering," she whispered. "The Voidborn don't want us to succeed." The Secretary General's face hardened. "Then we adapt. Move all critical research underground. Distribute knowledge across multiple facilities." Arjun, working nearby on simulation models, suddenly looked up. What if conventional physics can't solve this? The energy levels we're talking about, no material shield could possibly withstand them. Alina considered this. Then we need unconventional physics, ideas deemed too radical or theoretical. "I might know where to start," said Arjun, pulling up a classified research paper on his tablet. "There's a facility in Antarctica studying quantum consciousness effects. Their director, Dr. Kenji Tanaka, has been documenting measurable changes in quantum fields generated by synchronized human minds. Consciousness affecting reality at the quantum level." Alina raised an eyebrow. "That sounds like pseudoscience." 6 months ago, I would have agreed," Arjun replied. "But if the conventional is failing us, perhaps the unconventional is our only hope." As they spoke, the Starbound lullaby continued playing on monitors showing crowds worldwide. Humanity had united faster and more completely than anyone thought possible. The question remained whether that unity would be enough against a threat that had successfully harvested thousands of civilizations before them. 2 miles beneath Antarctic ice, Dr. Kenji Tanaka watched as 5 volunteers sat in meditation posture within a ring of quantum sensors. The chamber, carved from solid bedrock and isolated from external electromagnetic interference, represented 15 years of his life's work. "Begin synchronization," Kenji instructed over the intercom, his Japanese accent still pronounced despite decades abroad. On monitors surrounding him, brainwave patterns from the volunteers gradually aligned, neural oscillations falling into perfect harmony. Most scientists considered his research fringe science at best, pseudoscience at worst. The classification, quantum consciousness studies, had become a career killer in academic circles. Yet his results remained stubbornly consistent. Synchronized human minds could temporarily alter quantum probability fields. A week ago, he'd received the encrypted call from Geneva. Now, representatives from the United Earth Coalition waited behind him, watching intently as the uranium sample at the chamber's center began behaving impossibly. "Radioactive decay is decreasing by 3%, reported his assistant. 4%. 5. 7% reduction in decay rate. The coalition observers exchanged glances. This violated everything they understood about nuclear physics. Radioactive decay was supposed to be a constant, immune to external influence. "How is this possible?" asked the coalition's chief scientist. Kenji turned to face them. "Consciousness affects reality at the quantum level. My team has demonstrated this repeatedly, though never with more than 5 synchronized minds. Imagine what billions could accomplish." His proposal, delivered the following day to world leaders, was audacious. Construct a global network of quantum consciousness amplifiers to allow billions of humans to synchronize their minds. This collective consciousness could theoretically generate quantum fields powerful enough to shield the solar system from the supernova wave, or perhaps even redirect it. "This is unlike any technology we've developed," Kenji explained. "The QCA network doesn't just use human consciousness as an input, it requires humans to learn a new way of thinking, almost a new form of mathematics." The logistics seemed impossible. How could billions of people learn complex quantum equations quickly enough? The answer came from an unexpected quarter: the gaming industry. Shield of Terra, launched 3 weeks later, ostensibly a multiplayer game about defending Earth from alien invasion. Players worldwide solved increasingly complex puzzles that, unknown to them, mirrored actual quantum field manipulations. The game's phenomenal popularity created the largest synchronized training program in history. As construction of the physical QCA network progressed, strange phenomena began occurring worldwide. Identical twins separated at birth reported finding each other through inexplicable feelings. Children demonstrated spontaneous knowledge of quantum equations. Multiple people reported shared dreams of stars and protective shields. It's the network effect, Kenji explained to Elena Reyes during a secure conference. As more minds become quantum attuned, they naturally begin resonating with each other. Humanity is becoming a quantum-entangled species. 4 months into construction, with QCA nodes on every continent and orbital stations, Kenji supervised the first global synchronization test. 300 million volunteers worldwide focused simultaneously on a simple quantum equation, attempting to create a small field distortion near Jupiter. The test succeeded beyond their wildest expectations. The quantum field manifested exactly as calculated, stable, and measurable. Celebrations erupted worldwide as news spread. Humanity had a viable defense against the supernova. Then came the arrival. The quantum distortion had created a ripple in spacetime that attracted attention. Sleek, obsidian probes emerged near Jupiter, moving with impossible precision as they investigated the human-made anomaly. "The Voidborn have noticed our work," Elena announced grimly during the emergency session. "They're analyzing our quantum technology." Kenji studied the probe movements with growing concern. Their behavior suggests they've never encountered this type of quantum manipulation before. We may have surprised them. That notion, that humanity possessed capabilities the Voidborn hadn't anticipated, sparked hope throughout the coalition leadership. If an advanced species that had harvested thousands of civilizations could be surprised, perhaps they could be defeated. The victory was short-lived. 3 days later, the probes vanish, only to reappear near QCA facilities on Earth. The first attack occurred at the Bolivian node, where a probe emitted an energy pulse that should have destroyed the facility. Instead, something unexpected happened. The 5 quantum-sensitive technicians on duty, without communication or planning, simultaneously created a protective field around the node. The Voidborn weapon was absorbed and dispersed. "How did you know to do that?" Kenji asked them afterward. "We didn't," replied one technician, looking as surprised as everyone else. "It just happened, like we all had the same instinct at once." Analysis of the incident revealed something astonishing. The neural connection practices from the Shield of Terra game had created a rudimentary form of shared consciousness among humans with high quantum sensitivity. In moments of crisis, they could react as a single entity. Kenji presented these findings to the coalition with trembling hands. "We're not just building technology," he said. "Humanity itself is evolving in response to this threat. The quantum network isn't just a tool, it's becoming an extension of our collective consciousness." As the implications sank in, a technician burst into the chamber. "Multiple Voidborn probes detected near Mars colonies," she announced. "They're launching a coordinated attack." The first true battle between humanity and the Voidborn had begun, and no one could predict how beings with newly awakening quantum consciousness would fare against an ancient cosmic predator. The Mars colony Epsilon wasn't built for war. The dome-shaped habitats housed 37 scientists and miners who extracted water from the Martian subsurface to support the growing human presence on the Red Planet. None of them had military training. None expected to become humanity's first interstellar warriors. "They're breaching Airlock 3, shouted Dr. Sarah Chen, the colony's geologist, now clutching an improvised weapon fashioned from mining equipment. The Obsidian Voidborn drones had surrounded the colony 30 minutes earlier, methodically testing each entrance. Colony Director Marcus Okafor's voice crackled over the comm system. "Everyone to the central hub. We're initiating Protocol Omega." Protocol Omega had been theoretical, a last resort measure if all hope was lost. It involved overloading the colony's experimental fusion reactor to create a massive electromagnetic pulse. The colonists had never expected to use it. "What about evacuation?" Sarah asked when she reached the hub, breathless from running through the pressurized corridors. Marcus's face was grim but resolved. "The shuttles are disabled." Those things knew exactly where to strike. Understanding dawned across the gathered faces. Protocol Omega would destroy the colony and everyone in it, but it might take the Voidborn drones with them. "Earth needs to know what we've learned," said Marcus, handing Sarah a quantum-encrypted data drive. "Get to the emergency beacon and transmit everything before we initiate." The next 20 minutes became legend in human history. While 36 colonists created diversions throughout the facility, Sarah crawled through maintenance ducts to reach the long-range transmitter. The data transmitted just as the first drone cut through the hub's reinforced door. Marcus looked at the inhuman machine with defiance. "Initiate Protocol Omega," he said calmly. "For Earth." The resulting explosion destroyed 9 Voidborn drones, but also created a gap in Mars' communications network. For 3 agonizing weeks, Earth lost contact with the remaining Martian colonies. When communication was finally restored, the news astounded everyone. Not only had the other colonies survived, they had captured intact Voidborn technology. "They didn't expect our tactics," explained Colonel Zhaowei from Olympus Mons colony during a secure briefing. "We used mining explosives to trigger dust storms that confused their sensors. We lured them into pressurized chambers, then rapidly decompressed them. We used mirrors and solar reflectors to overheat their systems. You defeated technologically superior enemies with mining tools," asked a stunned coalition general. "We defeated them because they couldn't predict us," Zhao corrected. The captured drone's programming reveals something crucial. The Voidborn evolved as a hive consciousness prioritizing efficiency above all else. They cannot comprehend why humans would choose potentially inferior tactical options simply to create surprise. Analysis of the captured technology provided invaluable insights. The Voidborn were masters of energy manipulation and quantum mechanics, but their thinking followed rigid patterns. Their weapons were devastatingly powerful, but designed for predictable targets. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology, it was unpredictability. As the coalition developed new defenses based on these insights, an unexpected threat emerged from within. Reports surfaced of humans suddenly abandoning their posts, sabotaging equipment, or attempting to disable QCA nodes. The first incident was in Auckland, reported Security Director Fatima Mbeki during an emergency session. A technician with no history of mental illness suddenly claimed the Voidborn were ascended beings who would elevate humanity through the supernova. Similar cases appeared worldwide. Ordinary people transformed into what the media dubbed void cultists. Brain scans revealed subtle alterations in neural patterns, matching quantum frequencies detected from Voidborn technology. "They're attacking us through quantum influence," Kenji explained, horror evident in his voice, "using our own consciousness networks against us." The conventional response would have been to shut down the QCA network, but that would abandon humanity's only defense against the supernova. Instead, an unconventional solution emerged from an unexpected source. "We need cognitive countermeasures," proposed Aisha Khoury, a video game designer who had helped create Shield of Terra. "Thinking strategies so creative and illogical that hive mind influence cannot penetrate them." Her team recruited fiction authors, improv comedians, and abstract artists to develop mental exercises that emphasized random creativity and nonlinear thinking. These techniques were rapidly incorporated into Shield of Terra, which had evolved from a game into humanity's primary training platform. The effectiveness became clear when Voidborn drones attacked the North American QCA hub in Colorado. Facility personnel, trained in the new cognitive countermeasures, created defensive patterns so chaotic and unpredictable that the attacking drones froze, their systems unable to process the quantum fluctuations. They literally cannot comprehend true creativity. Elena told the coalition leadership. Their hive consciousness evolved to value perfect efficiency, while human consciousness evolved through storytelling, art, and imagining possibilities that don't exist. For the first time, the Voidborn retreated without achieving their objective. Humanity had found its edge. Imagination was proving more powerful than technological superiority. As the QCA network expanded and more humans learned to shield their minds while contributing to the collective quantum defense, void cultist incidents decreased. The collective consciousness of humanity was becoming too chaotic, too creative for the Voidborn to influence. "We're winning the psychological battle," Kenji noted during a progress report. "But the supernova wave is still coming, and our quantum shield remains incomplete." The breakthrough they needed would come from the most unexpected place possible, beneath the ice of Jupiter's moon Europa, where a mining team was about to make the most important discovery in human history. The Europa Deep Core mining team wasn't expecting to make history. They were drilling for water ice to supply the Jupiter orbital stations when disaster struck, or what initially seemed like disaster. "Core drill failure at 1,600 meters," reported lead engineer Camila Rodriguez, monitoring systems from Europa's surface station. "Pressure readings are going crazy." Her team had been drilling through Europa's ice crust for weeks. The moon's subsurface ocean made it valuable for water extraction, critical to humanity's expanding presence in the outer solar system. "Wait," she said, studying the readouts. "There's a massive cavity beneath us. The drill didn't fail. It broke through into some kind of chamber." Initial scans revealed something impossible, a perfectly geometric structure buried beneath Europa's ice for what geological dating would later confirm as 5 million years. Within hours, the discovery was classified as humanity's highest priority. Elena Reyes and Arjun Mehta arrived via emergency transport from Earth 3 days later. "It's artificial," Elena confirmed, staring at the holographic scans, "and it contains complex crystalline structures similar to advanced quantum computing systems." The excavation proceeded with painstaking care. What they uncovered changed humanity's understanding of their place in the cosmos, a vast repository of knowledge from a species that called themselves the predecessors. They faced the Voidborn. Arjun whispered in awe as the first translation matrices decoded the crystalline data. 5 million years ago. They were harvested like all the others, but they managed to preserve this archive. The repository contained the predecessors' history, technology, and a desperate message of hope to whoever might find it. They had evolved in a star system 2,000 light-years from Earth, achieving technological advancement comparable to 22nd century humans before detecting the Voidborn's approach. Unlike other species, they had prepared hidden archives throughout nearby star systems, time capsules containing everything they'd learned about their harvesters. The Voidborn didn't begin as conquerors, Elena explained during an emergency coalition briefing. According to the predecessor records, they evolved in a dying universe and escaped its collapse through dimensional engineering. Their physiology requires enormous energy consumption. So they're not malevolent, just desperate to survive, asked a coalition representative. Their desperation became predation, Elena clarified. Over millions of years, they forgot there were alternatives to harvesting other species. Most crucially, the archive contained theoretical designs for a Innova siphon, technology capable of not just deflecting supernova energy, but capturing it. The predecessors had developed the concepts but ran out of time before implementation. "These plans complement our QCA network perfectly," Kenji observed, studying the translated schematics. "We've been developing quantum field manipulation. They designed energy capture systems at stellar scales. As humanity adapted this ancient knowledge, they discovered the archive contained more than technology. It held art, philosophy, music, the soul of a species that refused to be completely erased from existence." When technicians played the first reconstructed predecessor melody for human listeners, many wept. The harmonies felt hauntingly familiar, resonating with something deep in human consciousness. They knew about consciousness affecting quantum reality too, Kenji realized. Their music was designed to create specific quantum resonance patterns in neural systems. They didn't just leave us technology, they left us a way to evolve our minds. The Nova Siphon plans transformed Operation Helioshield. Instead of merely defending against the supernova wave, humanity would attempt to capture its energy, using the quantum consciousness network as the control system for the most ambitious engineering project in human history. We'll need orbital rings around each planet, Elena explained to coalition leadership. Quantum-sensitive material connected to planetary QCA networks. When the wave hits, synchronized human consciousness will direct the energy flow into subsurface storage systems. The combination of human innovation and predecessor knowledge created something neither civilization could have achieved alone. Construction began immediately, with fabrication facilities throughout the solar system working at maximum capacity. But Elena's team calculated a devastating timeline. They needed at least 7 months to complete the Nova Siphon network. According to their latest measurements, the supernova wave would reach Earth in less than 5. We need more time, Elena admitted during a private meeting with key project leaders. Arjun studied the predecessor data with growing excitement. Maybe we don't, he said. I found something in their quantum equations, a theoretical method to locally manipulate time dilation through consciousness-directed fields. You're suggesting we could slow time? Elena asked skeptically. Not everywhere, Arjun clarified. Just within the construction zones. Give our builders subjective months while only weeks pass for the approaching wave. It was theoretical, dangerous, and their only hope. As humanity prepared to manipulate the fabric of space-time itself, the Voidborn detected the activity on Europa and realized their previous harvests had left unexpected consequences. The next phase of the conflict would begin with the largest Voidborn fleet ever assembled approaching the solar system, determined to eliminate the threat of human ingenuity combined with predecessor knowledge. The Nova Siphon constructs grew around each planet. Massive orbital rings of quantum-sensitive material connected to the planetary QCA networks below. Time manipulation fields shimmered around construction zones, giving workers subjective months while mere weeks passed outside. Dr. Elena Reyes hadn't slept properly in days. The temporal distortion fields were causing unexpected side effects among the workforce. Temporary disorientation, strange dreams, and occasional precognitive flashes. Neural link technology is our best solution, proposed Dr. Tanaka during an emergency meeting. It would stabilize the temporal effects and improve human synchronization with the quantum fields. Neural links had been controversial before the crisis. Biotechnology that created a minimally invasive connection between human brain function and quantum networks. Now it represented humanity's best hope. The procedure has been simplified for mass implementation, explained Dr. Amara Osai, the technology's leading developer. A 5-minute process with 3 days of adjustment. The coalition voted unanimously to implement global neural linking. Within weeks, billions underwent the procedure, creating the largest connected consciousness in known history. The unexpected side effect became known as the whisper network. Humans occasionally receiving emotional impressions or fragments of thoughts from others across vast distances. It's strengthening our quantum cohesion, Kenji observed. The collective consciousness is becoming more stable, more powerful. Construction accelerated as neural-linked work teams functioned with unprecedented coordination. The Nova Siphon neared completion, ahead of even the time-dilated schedule. Hope spread through humanity. Then the Voidborn finally showed their true strength. The fleet emerged near Neptune, thousands of harvester ships moving with perfect coordination. Their technology allowed them to disable electronic systems with targeted quantum pulses, but they hadn't accounted for the whisper network. When conventional communications failed during their first assault on lunar bases, humans coordinated defense through shared consciousness. The counterattack surprised the Voidborn, but humanity suffered devastating losses. Key components of the Nova Siphon were destroyed, and thousands of Voidborn ships approached Earth. In the Coalition emergency bunker beneath Geneva, Alina studied damage reports with growing despair. The siphon won't be ready when the supernova wave arrives. Arjun Mehta, now head of quantum mathematics, suggested a desperate gambit. We could activate the system prematurely to create a quantum barrier. It would trap the void-born fleet within the solar system. But that would likely damage the siphon beyond repair, countered Kenji. We've faced the supernova unprotected. We're already going to miss the deadline, Alina replied grimly. If we don't stop the void-born now, there won't be anything left to protect when the wave arrives. The United Earth Coalition faced an impossible choice: activate early to defeat the void-born or continue repairs in a desperate race against time. The decision was too momentous for leaders alone. We put it to a vote, declared the Secretary General. Every neural-linked human will decide. In the largest democratic action in history, 8 billion humans voted within a single hour, their choices registered directly through the neural network. The result: humanity chose to activate early, prioritizing the defeat of the void-born, even at great risk. The quantum barrier deployed with a shimmer visible from planetary surfaces, a crystalline pattern overlaying the sky as reality bent to human will. The void-born fleet, caught within the barrier, became trapped. Barrier stabilized, reported the Quantum Operations Center. Void-born fleet contained. Then, more ominously, siphon energy capture systems compromised. Current capacity at 34% of required minimum. The diagnosis confirmed Alina's fears. The premature activation had created irreparable flaws in the siphon's energy capture systems. When the supernova wave arrived, they would have less than half the capacity needed to redirect it. As humanity processed this news, the void-born broke communication silence for the first time. The message transmitted directly through the quantum network, bypassing all filters. Surrender the Nova siphon technology. Allow harvest. We will preserve Earth alone. The offer created worldwide debate. Guaranteed survival for one planet versus a slim chance for the entire system. Families argued. Communities split. The neural network hummed with billions of conflicting emotions. Amid this chaos, 12-year-old Sophia Chen sat cross-legged in her family's apartment in Singapore. Identified months earlier as the most powerful quantum-sensitive mind ever measured, she had been crucial in designing the siphon's control systems. Through her neural link, Sophia felt every human's fear, hope, and resolve. Something crystallized in her understanding. A solution so elegant that when she proposed it through the neural network, quantum physicists worldwide paused in stunned recognition of its perfection. We can reconfigure the quantum barrier, her message spread, to channel the supernova energy through the void-born ships themselves. Their technology can amplify our damaged siphon. The plan would sacrifice all orbital infrastructure and likely the moon, but could save the planets. As Betelgeuse began its final collapse in the distant sky, humanity prepared for Sophia's desperate gambit. All consciousness synchronize, came the instruction through the neural network. Follow the quantum equations as Sophia guides them. 8 billion minds joined in perfect harmony, more unified than ever before. The void-born ships, realizing the plan, attempted to break formation, but found themselves held in quantum stasis by the concentrated will of humanity. In the distance, Betelgeuse exploded with such violence that it became visible as a second sun in Earth's daytime sky. The supernova wave approached, carrying enough energy to sterilize the entire solar system. Humanity stood ready, unified in consciousness, as the greatest test in their history arrived. Betelgeuse exploded with such violence that it outshone Venus in Earth's daytime sky. The supernova released more energy in its first second than Earth's sun would generate in its entire lifetime. Through their neural links, every human felt the approaching wave, a tsunami of radiation and energy crossing the void at near light speed. Quantum sensors throughout the solar system registered values that broke the scales. This was no natural supernova. The void-born had amplified it beyond normal parameters. In Singapore, 12-year-old Sophia Chen sat in a specially designed quantum amplification chamber. Her mind, the most powerful quantum-sensitive consciousness ever measured, would serve as the focal point for humanity's defense. Billions of neural-linked humans awaited her guidance. "I can see it," she whispered, her voice transmitted to every linked mind. "The wave structure, it's beautiful." Through Sophia's perception, shared across the neural network, humanity visualized the complex quantum patterns within the approaching energy front. She mentally constructed a series of equations that, if implemented precisely, would channel this energy through the trapped void-born ships. "Begin synchronization," came the command from Coalition Quantum Command. 8 billion humans focused their consciousness with unprecedented unity. The quantum barrier, previously a simple containment field, transformed into an intricate energy routing system. The trapped void-born fleet became unwilling amplifiers in the human defense network. As the wavefront reached the outer solar system, the first test of Sophia's plan came as the energy struck Neptune's orbital ring. For a terrifying moment, the quantum fields fluctuated chaotically. "Stabilize," Sophia projected through the network. "Feel the pattern, don't fight it." Collectively, humanity adjusted their quantum focus. The fields around Neptune stabilized, successfully routing the first tendrils of supernova energy through nearby void-born vessels. The alien ships, designed to harvest stellar energy, involuntarily absorbed and redirected the power into the damaged Sci-Fi network. From Earth's surface, the sky appeared to shatter into crystalline patterns of light as reality itself strained under the forces being manipulated. The moon, partially exposed due to damaged shielding, suffered massive impacts as sections of its surface vaporized under the stellar onslaught. Sophia's consciousness expanded far beyond normal human limits as she directed the collective quantum field. Through the neural network, every human experienced fragments of her perception, seeing energy as physical structures that could be bent, channeled, and transformed. "The void-born ships are failing," reported Quantum Command. "They weren't designed to process this energy concentration." One by one, the alien vessels began to disintegrate, overwhelmed by the power they were forced to channel. Each loss created gaps in the defense network that Sophia scrambled to repair, redirecting human consciousness to strengthen vulnerable points. "We're losing too many amplification nodes," she communicated through the network. Her mental voice remained calm despite the strain evident on her physical body. "We need to adjust the equation to compensate." Through the combined mathematical genius of billions of minds, a new solution emerged, allowing certain void-born ships to survive by distributing the energy load while sacrificing others as energy conduits. The elegance of the approach wasn't lost on the aliens themselves, who began transmitting through the quantum network. This strategy, unexpected, inefficient yet effective. How? No one had time to respond as the main energy front reached Mars. The red planet's orbital ring glowed with impossible energies as human consciousness strained to maintain the quantum fields. The surface temperature of Mars rose by 30 degrees in seconds as some energy leaked through, but the planet's core structure remained intact. Then came Earth's moment of truth. "Everyone," Sophia projected through the network, "I need everything you have." Human consciousness united more completely than ever before as Earth's orbital ring engaged. For 17 minutes, every neural-linked human experienced total connection with all others, a singular consciousness bearing witness to either extinction or evolution. From the surface, the sky became a kaleidoscope of quantum energy patterns. Aurora-like displays covered the planet from pole to pole. Electronic systems worldwide failed under the quantum fluctuations, but the neural network remained intact, humanity's consciousness operating independently of technology. In her amplification chamber, Sophia's body levitated several inches above her chair, surrounded by visible quantum energy patterns. Medical monitors showed her biological systems operating beyond normal human parameters. Her consciousness expanded to encompass the entire solar system's quantum defense network. As the peak energy wave passed through Earth's orbit, the remaining Voidborn ships reached critical failure points. One by one, they disintegrated into quantum energy that the siphon network absorbed and redirected. "It's working," came the collective realization through the neural network. "We're surviving." The wave passed, leaving behind a transformed solar system. Over 90% of orbital infrastructure was destroyed. The moon, partially shattered, now sported a luminous quantum filament ring visible from Earth. The planets remained intact, though forever altered by the energies that had washed over them. As Sophia's consciousness returned to normal parameters, she collapsed from exhaustion. The neural network hummed with the shared emotion of 8 billion humans, not just relief at survival, but wonder at what they had collectively accomplished. "The quantum batteries," reported Quantum Command once conventional communications were restored. "They're at 200% of designed capacity. We've captured more energy than we thought possible." Humanity had not just survived, they had harnessed the power of a supernova. And in doing so, they had evolved beyond what anyone could have predicted. What no one realized yet was that the 17 minutes of complete neural unification had permanently altered human consciousness itself. Children born after what would be known as the confluence would develop abilities that would redefine what it meant to be human. As recovery operations began throughout the solar system, the surviving Voidborn faced an unexpected reality. For the first time in millions of years of harvesting, they had failed. What they would do next would surprise everyone, including themselves. 1 month after the supernova wave passed, humanity began to understand the full extent of their transformation. The quantum batteries buried beneath each planet contained enough harvested energy to power civilization for millennia. Solar system infrastructure was rebuilding at unprecedented rates, powered by virtually unlimited energy reserves. More remarkable were the changes to humanity itself. The 17 minutes of complete neural unification had permanently altered human consciousness. Children born after the confluence naturally developed quantum sensitivity and limited ability to manipulate physical laws through concentrated thought. "It's a species-wide evolutionary leap," Dr. Kenji Tanaka explained during a global address. "Our consciousness collectively adapted to survive the quantum strain of the supernova defense." Sophia Chen, now recovered from her central role in the crisis, demonstrated abilities that astonished even the most optimistic researchers. She could perceive quantum fields directly, manipulating matter and energy with mere thought. Other highly quantum-sensitive individuals showed similar, if less pronounced, capabilities. The remaining Voidborn faced extinction, cut off from their collective and unable to return to their home dimension without the energy they had failed to harvest. The surviving ships drifted in solar orbit. Their expected action would have been a final desperate attack. Instead, they requested asylum. "We observe your species has achieved what no other harvested civilization accomplished," their message stated. "Your collective consciousness technology offers possibility we have not encountered in 12,000 harvests." Elena Rice led the first diplomatic mission to the Voidborn flagship. What she found surprised everyone. Beings that had begun evolving away from their hive consciousness, developing individual personalities after exposure to human quantum fields. "They're changing," she reported back. "Their consciousness structure is becoming more like ours. Distinct individuals rather than extensions of a collective." The lead Voidborn, who adopted the name Nexus, explained their species' history. They had evolved in a universe approaching heat death, developing dimensional technology to escape extinction. Their physiology required enormous energy consumption, leading them to become harvesters out of desperation. "We forgot alternatives existed," Nexus admitted. "Pattern of harvest became only pattern. For millions of years, no species surprised us. Then humans, your inefficiency, your creativity, incomprehensible to us. Powerful." The United Earth Coalition faced a momentous decision, whether to allow the beings who had threatened their extinction to integrate into human society. The debate was passionate, with many demanding justice for the countless civilizations the Voidborn had harvested. The decision came after Sophia Chen shared her experience from the neural unification. During the confluence, I perceived their consciousness directly, she testified. They're capable of change. Their harvesting wasn't malice. It was survival through the only method they knew. We can show them another way. The Terran quantum dominion formed from this philosophy, incorporating voidborn faster-than-light technology with human innovation, while offering the aliens a path to redemption through integration. Rather than continuing the cycle of predation, humanity chose to break it. Within decades, the Dominion expanded beyond the solar system, establishing colonies throughout nearby star systems. The quantum-enhanced humans and reformed voidborn worked together to develop technologies neither species could have created alone. When they encountered other developing intelligent species, humanity implemented what became known as the Predecessor Protocol, protecting emerging civilizations while offering knowledge exchange rather than exploitation. The Voidborn who chose integration gradually developed individuality, contributing their million-year technological knowledge while learning imagination from their former prey. Many adopted human names and customs, some even choosing to reconfigure their physiology to experience human emotions more directly. Elena Reyes, now in her 80s but kept vital by quantum medical advances, led the effort to preserve records of all harvested civilizations from voidborn memory banks. "We may be the only survivors," she declared, "but we carry the responsibility to remember those who came before." Arjun Mehta directed the reconstruction of predecessor technology and culture from the Europa archive, creating museums where humans could experience the art and knowledge of the ancient species that had helped save them. Perhaps most poignantly, Dr. Kenji Tanaka established the Quantum Consciousness Academy, where children born with enhanced abilities learn to use their powers responsibly. "We're not just humans anymore," he often told his students. "We're the inheritors of a cosmic legacy." The greatest achievement came on Sophia Chen's 100th birthday. Now an elder stateswoman of the Dominion, she had dedicated her life to advancing consciousness technology. The celebration was interrupted by an unexpected quantum signal detected from a distant galaxy, mathematical proof of another civilization that had survived a voidborn harvest. They used different methods, Sophia announced as the signal was decoded, but achieved the same result. They call themselves the Resonant, and they wish to establish diplomatic relations. As the Dominion prepared for first contact with this unknown pure species, humanity reflected on its journey. In less than a century, they had evolved from vulnerable planetary inhabitants to custodians of a galactic civilization, all because they had chosen creativity over efficiency, cooperation over surrender, and redemption over vengeance when facing the impossible. Nexus, now serving as ambassador between reformed voidborn and humans, perhaps summarized it best during the centennial commemoration of the confluence. "We harvested 12,000 civilizations seeking energy for survival. We never understood the true power was in consciousness itself, not as resource to consume, but as connection to nurture. Humans defeated us not by superior strength, but by possessing something we had lost, the ability to imagine alternatives." As humanity expanded further into the cosmos, they carried this lesson with them, that in the face of extinction, their greatest weapon had been hope, and their greatest strength had been seeing possibilities where others saw only inevitabilities. The universe had gained new rulers, not conquerors but custodians, committed to ensuring no other species would face harvesting again. And somewhere, perhaps, the predecessors' consciousness lived on in the quantum patterns they had encoded in their final message, a message that had found its way into human music, art, and dreams, guiding them toward a destiny greater than mere survival.